From Hollywood, time once again for Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for joining us. Money TV is a program all about money and what makes it happen. Well, Hollywood has made a practice of the art of congratulating themselves. Several times a year, they gather together in a room, dress in whatever labeled fashions they get for free for the exposure, and they hand out trophies to one another. They count on millions of people to watch these broadcasts, so they're afforded the opportunity to air their political and social agendas. Now, never was this on more nauseating display than during this week's Emmy Awards presentations, as the two biggest targets by the liberal Hollywood lefties were President Trump and Jesus Christ. Now, Trump was probably flattered that he was sharing top bashing billing with Jesus, but the rest of America was not amused. Ratings for the Emmys were at their lowest level ever. People who liked to thank Jesus for their accomplishments were labeled as ex-crackheads, and Trump, well, let's face it, Trump could cure cancer and Hollywood liberals would find a problem with that. But if Hollywood liberals are indeed true to their liberal ideals, there wouldn't even be award shows celebrating Best Actress or Best Actor. There'd be no awards for Best TV Series or Best Picture. If Hollywood liberals are indeed honest with us and with themselves, there'd be no awards at all. Everyone would simply receive a participation trophy, because after all, that's more inclusive and doesn't affect self-esteem. And what about those gender-specific awards for Best Actor and Actress? Hollywood celebrates eliminating gender as a description, but then ignores those convictions completely when handing out gender-labeled trophies. Come on, Hollywood, if you're going to talk the talk, you have to walk the walk. Now, the late Senator John McCain was wistfully remembered in the memoriam segment, but the only TV show I can remember McCain starring in was his own recent funeral. Conversely, television icon Robin Leach, who passed away last month, was ignored. Maybe Leach was never guilty of bashing Trump or Jesus. One thing is certain, however, be it the Emmys, the Oscars, Tonys, or whatever, Americans have exercised their right to change the channel. Now, we're hoping you don't change the channel, because right now we're going to give you our toll-free number, good from anywhere in the world you're watching the program, 888-259-4449, to get free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. Again, toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Our first guest this week's joining us over the phone, Mr. Ajene Watson. He's the CEO of a company called Digital Asset Monetary Network. Their stock symbol is DATI. Ajene, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, you folks have a very fascinating business model. Why don't you tell us what the company does?
Well, our company is essentially an accelerator. We consider ourselves a specialized accelerator because we don't necessarily focus on providing mentorships and those type of programs like a Techstar, et cetera. But we focus on accelerating capital to startups by accelerating liquidity to investors. We believe that the more liquidity investors have in these private investments, and they don't have to wait 7-10 years to access the liquidity, the more capital startups will have available to them to build their businesses. The unique twist with us, though, is that from an altruistic point of view, we're very committed to the everyday Joe Blow investor, if you will. And so the products and packages we put together always incorporate the average investor or the everyday person having the ability to invest, even if it's only $10. They have the ability to invest alongside well-heeled, experienced, savvy investors.
Well, it's interesting because basically what you're saying is you're becoming the bridge between the startup company and the investor, so to speak.
Yeah, we're bridging the gap between three groups, right? The startups, the investors, the angels, and the early-stage investors, and most importantly, the everyday people who aren't normally invited to the party. They normally don't get to see a Snapchat or an Uber or Dropbox when they're in their infancy. They only see them after the fact and when they're just not affordable anymore.
So basically, you're able to put the everyday investor on almost the same level playing field as, say, an angel investor, as it were.
Yes, that's the point. That's the intention.
So how do people that are interested in being a everyday level investor, how do they get in touch with you? How do they become part of your network, so to speak?
Well, what we're doing is building an ecosystem that consists of our proprietary programs and strategies and and some platforms that we're investing in. True Crowd, for example, is an equity crowdfunding platform that allows the everyday investor to invest via a crowdfunding into startups and early-stage development companies. And they can, go to truecrowd.com. Truecrowd.com is ranked one of the top 10 equity crowdfunding platforms in the business today. They also operate two other portals, Fundana.com, which is a cannabis-focused portal, and Crypto Launch, which is a crypto-focused portal, which is very interesting because with all the craze or the interest, intrigue around tokens and cryptocurrencies and the difficulty for U.S. citizens to participate in that market, through our programs and strategies, the average investor can participate in the crypto world and early stage and startup companies with tokens, as well as in startups, or they can just come to DATI, right? DATI, our ticker, and take a look at us and make investments with us.
Digital Asset Monetary Network, as Jenny said, the stock symbol is DATI. We're initiating coverage of the company. Jenny will be watching you very closely over the next several weeks. We're going to have a much longer interview with you here in a couple of weeks from now. Just fascinating business model. Thanks so much for joining us.
I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
And joining us now direct from Phoenix, Arizona is Will Ralston. He is the president of Single Point Incorporated. SING is their stock symbol. Welcome back to the show, Will.
Hey, Don. Thanks for having us.
Well, I know you guys have been very busy, but what's new since we last spoke?
Well, we're very excited here. I think as everybody's seen in some of our previous video updates, Single Coin is live. It's launched. It's on Android. It's on iOS. We've launched at singlepoint.com. You can now actually see the preview and the links there to directly go ahead and download the application. So all the things are in order where the commercial has been approved. It's going to launch here in the next week, and we're going to actually be announcing the exact time where everybody will be able to go ahead and tune in and see the very first live airing of Single Coin and Kevin Harrington announcing the completion and what is really the beginning of a huge milestone for Single Point here.
Well, Bill, that's fantastic. So with Single Coin live and last mile delivery live, things are really moving forward.
Well, again, we're really come to the culmination of a lot of great projects that we've been working on. Last mile is live. The partner app is live, the driver app is live, so all systems are now speaking to each other. So a customer can actually, from inception of an order, go ahead and place that order. The merchant will see that order placed and go ahead and be able to fulfill it and assign a delivery driver to make that order. Once that driver is en route, the customer will actually be able to see an ETA. So what this is doing is just making a massive potential increase for customer satisfaction, because you're no longer in the dark about where and what time that delivery is going to show up. So we're excited, very excited about that, and eventually the goal here is to integrate the two systems so that customers can actually pay with their Bitcoin through the Single Coin app, and an implementation of a loyalty rewards program to again drive additional users and additional feature sets for our merchants as well as our customers.
Well, of course, Kevin Harrington is a dynamic spokesman. He's a former shark on Shark Tank. What are some of the networks you're planning on airing the commercial with?
Well, yeah, I think I'm glad you brought that up, because we actually just spoke with Kevin's team on Tuesday, this past Tuesday, and they are very excited for this launch and are already spinning new ideas about where they're going to use their efforts and their connections to drive adoption, and as well as new potential partnerships for Single Point through his network. And then as far as some of the actual news networks that you're going to see this on, we've linked up and had approval from the major news networks, so we're looking to put this on Fox Business, HLN, CNBC. So really some of your major networks out there that are already in the financial space and talking about Bitcoin quite often. So their viewers are, what we're looking for is the adoption, and some of these financial networks are already providing the education behind Bitcoin, so they'll be aware and ready to go with Single Coin already.
Amazing, great progress. Now, how does the company generate revenue from the apps?
Well, exactly what we were bringing to earlier was we look to implement a loyalty program as well as the transactions. So Single Point has a deep history in credit card processing, and customers will actually be able to utilize their credit or debit card through the application. So we'll be collecting transaction fees through the purchase of products, but there's also going to be a subscription fee to utilize the platform. So it's the monthly recurring subscription fees plus the processing fees.
Exciting times. Once again, Single Point Incorporated, S-I-N-G. Will, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Don. We appreciate it, and go sing.
Does this sound familiar? Turned down for a mortgage? Credit card interest over 20%? Didn't get the job you wanted? The problem is your credit score. Unsure what your credit score is? Call the Advocacy Network, 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl. He can help you regain your financial independence. Change your life today. 321-947-3220. Talk to Carl.
Hi, we're back. Thanks for staying with us. Joined on the phone now by Tom Djokovic. Tom's the CEO of X&X Incorporated. Their stock symbols XSNX. Tom, welcome back to the program.
Thanks for having me back, Don.
Well, Tom, it's been a busy, hot year in Southern California. That's got to do well for you in the solar business.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We just continuously get phone calls from businesses. We service the business and industrial sector for solar, and we're getting phone calls all the time and web requests for commercial enterprises that are looking to cut those expensive energy costs.
Well, speaking of expensive energy costs, I mean, some of these people are seeing bills that have doubled, maybe even tripled from just a year ago.
Well, the big change is coming this coming March, 2019. There's going to be some significant rate changes, and so customers that start planning now can get themselves grandfathered into these current rates, and it's really going to be beneficial for them. So I think that's one of the things that's driving a number of the phone calls that we're getting.
Now, some of the things that you're involved in that I think are really innovative, solar carports, solar truck ports. If the business you're talking to doesn't have enough roof space, they can use their parking lot to an advantage.
Absolutely, absolutely. As an example, we had one the other day over in La Mirada, California, business, multi-story business. They don't do any manufacturing, but they have a lot of air conditioning costs. And their bill average is about $7,000 a month. And even if we would have filled their roof up with solar modules, we probably still would have been a little bit short of getting their needs totally satisfied. And so alternatively, we're proposing solar carports in the parking lot, which gives them the shaded parking as well. And it keeps the panels off the roof, which they had a brand new high-performance roof installed just a few years ago. So that roof's going to be untouched, and it'll continue to service them well for years to come without any issues. And now they get the covered solar carports, and we get to address and service 100% of their electrical needs with the carport. So it was a great alternative and a great, we consider it an asset addition to their facility.
And of course, some of the other things you're also offering are what I found remarkable: solar storage and electric vehicle charging stations.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We're seeing increased calls on both of those. The battery systems, energy storage, we pair those quite often with the solar systems. They work well. And then the EV charging is something that's obviously, because of the number of EV-based vehicles being sold continues to increase, but also certain green codes with the building code that now require you to install those EV chargers when you do certain amounts of improvements to your facility. So we're seeing an increase in requests that are related a lot to these code changes, which is good business for us.
Well, Tom, with all the advantages about solar and the presentations that you're making, are you still running into objections or roadblocks that you're finding difficult to overcome?
Well, Don, it's the oldest objection in the book, and that is just simply finances. It's a lot easier for a company that's maybe a little cash-strapped or doesn't want to take on any debt. A lot easier to just pay $7,000 a month for electricity than necessarily invest several $100,000 in a solar system. If they do it in the form of a loan, well, we can get people finance. That's not an issue, and 99% of the time the monthly payment is equal to or less than what they were spending on electricity. And then, you figure in all the tax benefits and the fact that electricity would have continued to go up while your payment stayed even, it's still a pretty good investment. So, it's a financial analysis. We give people, a very detailed financial analysis and discuss all the options with them. And it's a business decision. And for some people, it's hard for them to wrap their brain around, and other people get it immediately and pull the trigger and give us a green light.
Stock symbols XSNX, XNX Incorporated. Tom, great update. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Don. Talk to you soon.
And joining us in studio now are two executives with Origin Clear Incorporated. OCLN is a stock symbol. Of course, the Dean of Water and CEO, Mr. Rick Zuckerberry. Always a pleasure.
Do I get the robe and sash?
Yes, you do.
Thank you.
It's hanging in the green room closet, as a matter of fact. You forgot to wear it.
Indeed, I did.
And J.L. Kindler, great to see you again. You're the president of Origin Clear Technologies. Now, I understand that you just returned from a trip to Oman, a very fruitful trip, I understand. Why don't you tell us about it?
Absolutely. I was in Oman 2 weeks ago, and we signed an agreement there with a local company. That's probably the fruit of these past 3 years, where we have been in constant contact with this company and with Oman in general. I think the people over there have praised and have appreciated that we are still in the market, still in business in the oil and gas industry, and we have been constantly delivering solutions and innovation in this field. And so this new company we have signed an agreement with called Special Oilfield Services, and they cater to the needs of the oil majors there, not only in Oman but also in the whole region. And we are, as we speak, we have started designing a pilot system that we will install for a project we have there. And it was also very interesting because we have discussed, which is not often the case over there, we have discussed innovation, we have discussed new technologies, and we have discussed ways to apply advanced oxidation, for example, to some of the issues that they are foreseeing with the enhanced oil recovery techniques that they are using now in the region.
Well, it's kind of interesting about places like Oman is oil is not only a business there, it's really a culture. And when you start to get into companies in Oman, I mean, I'm sure it opens doors up to other companies as well.
Absolutely. Well, this company we have signed an agreement with actually is a joint venture between a company in Abu Dhabi, in the United Arab Emirates, and an Omani company. And what's really interesting, what's really particular with Oman is people there call Oman the Switzerland of the region. It's peaceful, it's rich. It has resources, and also it is very, very careful about environment, and they really praise technology. And that for us it was eye-opening. It was eye-opening in the very beginning in 2014 when we started having relationships over there, and I believe this trip this time was really the conclusion. Well, of course it's a start for us, but it was the conclusion of the 3 years working together, exchanging information, and showing we were providing solutions.
Now, speaking of technology, I have a device here with us at the news desk, which I think would have been a lot of fun to try to get through customs. Why don't you tell us what we have here?
Actually, I remember having gone through the customs and somebody telling me that it was forbidden to carry nuclear weapons in the luggage. So yes, actually, we usually send those things through courier, but even at the entrance down there, and security looked at my box and was a little wondering. So I just told you, I think, last week about AOX Plus, which is the latest version of our advanced oxidation solutions. This is a prototype, and this is AOX Plus. AOX Plus actually is based on a very, very old process called the Fenton process. It was invented in 1864, if I'm right. And what we did with this, of course, there has been evolutions for this. Fenton process is very well known in the science world and the academia for being the reference for generating hydroxyl radicals, OH radicals, the most powerful oxidants that can be found in water. But technology has not really evolved. There has been some progress, but we are basically still looking at mixing hydrogen peroxide, ferric sulfate, mix that in water, you mix, and you wait until the contaminants are being destroyed.
Okay.
It works well. It works really well because OH radicals are generated. What we invented here, what we brought, and what Ayush and his team actually built here is a solution that takes the phantom process in the 21st century.
Okay.
You don't need to bring in hydrogen peroxide. It is a dangerous material. You don't need to bring in ferric sulfide. It's not dangerous, but there are warning signs when you need to carry it. All this is generated inside the system with what you can see here. You can see here a membrane which breathes air. And when water goes through the first chamber here, with the current that passes through this membrane, the oxygen in the air, so even if the air is dirty, even if there is too much carbon dioxide in water, there is still 20% oxygen. Okay. So this oxygen goes into here. Is because of the electrical reactions that take place, is turned into hydrogen peroxide, which is naturally mixed into the water.
Interesting.
Water goes there and then comes back again into another chamber, which is electrically connected with the first one. I'm sorry, I will try not to be too technical. And this is where iron is being donated. It actually is based on one of our very, very first patents that we applied for in 2009, I think. And with this, iron reacts with hydrogen peroxide to generate the OH radicals that will do the cleaning job. And this is exactly Phantom, but much more simple, easy to scale up, and without logistic issues.
I wish we had more time in the program, but we're out of time. Again, this has been fascinating. You didn't get to say very much, Riggs, but I saw you beaming with pride.
21st century. I'm excited.
Origin Clear, OCLN, guys, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And joining us now on the phone is Dave Massey. Dave is the CEO of Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation. Their stock symbol's SIRC. Dave, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Don. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, I owe you an apology. When we had you in studio last week, I meant to ask you about your audits. We didn't get to that, so I'm going to ask you about it now. Tell us about it.
You know, we're in the process. We have a firm in Denver that's working on the audit that get us uplisted and fully reporting. We're in the final stages. Been here in 2 weeks for several weeks now. I got to think we're in the final 2 weeks of the audit, and we should be able to make the announcement very soon about that being completed.
That's great news. Now, the last time we spoke, of course, you were talking about a pending closing on a big acquisition. Any news there?
You know, that's it's taken longer than we thought, but all the reasons are good. They're having such record months that we're having to reconstruct the deal to keep everything, keep all the parties happy and content with the terms. We actually are going to cancel out 20 million shares of the outstanding shares to make the percentages of the current company align with the deal that we're putting in place. So, nice about when the deal is complete. The acquisition is about a $15 million acquisition. Their profits this year are looking really good. They're pushing 10% profits. So, we're going to quickly be a $25 million company. That's obviously our original goal, and we got much more to come.
You know, it's amazing because, you spoke to us earlier in the year. You were talking about growth by acquisition was a big part of your 2018 strategy. It's really coming to fruition.
Yes, it is. And as I mentioned earlier, this first piece of the media company, which is going to be the fuel for the acquisition, I'm currently working very diligently on another solar roofing acquisition. It's about a $7 million one, but the key is the personnel. The CEO of this company is probably the sharpest mind in solar in San Diego County. We actually met yesterday. We're working some things out, and I hope to be making an announcement about that one very soon as well.
Once again, the company is Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation, SIRC. Great update, Dave. Thanks so much.
Hey, Don. Thank you.
And joining us now on the phone is Carl Schilling. Carl is the founder of an organization called the Advocacy Network. Carl, great to have you back on the program.
Yes, it's always great, Don. I love to be with you and your audience.
Well, what are you guys up to these days? We haven't spoken in a while.
Well, a lot of unique things. We're always adding and building, and we try to keep that concept, Don, where we are basically your best interest is our only concern. So we try to help people with total independent, non-biased looks at things. And in that mindset, we've talked to a group called Total Insurance Review, who basically doesn't sell any insurance, but what they do is they have professionals like myself and others who just basically give people independent analysis sometimes. It could be claims, it could be contracts, it could be, just understanding their policies, whatever it is. So it's a neat service, and we feel like that's a nice strategic alliance in our, in our quiver.
Well, sometimes your insurance coverage is wrong and you're spending more money than you need to be, right?
Absolutely, especially in the senior market. The senior market is one of the great abuses because of the Medicare supplements and the Medicare Advantages, and many agents don't want to get certified to sell Medicare Advantage, so they only have one, product, which is the supplement, and that's leaving out half of the story for somebody. So it's really unfortunate.
Now, of course, the core values of the Advocacy Network are to help people prevent financial victimization, correct?
Absolutely, in all different areas, and we're just finding now, a great deal of it is in the financial services arena, Don, pretty much investing, insurance, risk management, all those kinds of areas. There's a great deal of loss, there's a great deal of abuse, there's a great deal of fraud. So I think those are really pressing issues.
Well, I imagine a lot of people are going to become confused after the first of the year when the Obamacare mandate disappears. What are you anticipating as far as that goes?
Well, that's going to be another wide open door for abuse, as it is, because you got half of the plan is still there, half the plan's not there. Now, we found many people who thought they had to always pay, this Obamacare fine, and they didn't realize the law. They didn't realize, the income levels and everything. About 60%, 65% of all the people who paid that fine didn't need to pay that fine.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So how can you advise people the right way?
Lastly, the tax preparers didn't know that, which was pretty sad.
How can you advise people the right way?
Well, for us, if they would contact us here at the Advocacy Network, we're always looking to get them the right information at the right time through the right sources. And once again, we're trying to help one thing only, Don, is help people become financially independent.
Once again, the Advocacy Network, the founder, Carl Schilling, are doing wonderful things. Visit their web address right there on your screen. Carl, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks again, Don. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
Take care. On this week's Money Wrap radio program, we're going to talk about the Kavanaugh hearings again, and it's nothing but a stall tactic. To find out a radio station near you, to listen online, go to our website, moneywrap.com. Call us right now, toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449, to receive free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. Again, toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net, and please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's our show this week. We'll be back next week. Thanks so much for joining us.